Faithful Nation podcast. I'm your host, Controversial Corey. That's my co-host right there, LG. What's up, brother?
And what's going on, y'all? Man, look, hey, Faithful Nation, bro. Look, hey, y'all better be in tune tonight, bro, because I'm on one tonight. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm on one.
And then we got my draft guru. We got breaking news, Brian. What's happening, brother?
What's up, boys? So I decided to wear the all black since we're going to be talking about the Niners draft this last weekend. So this is as much energy as I can pump up right now. So let's get it.
Man, you got on black. I got on white because I'm got the white flag ready.
That's right.
Hey,
That's
I
right.
got the white flag ready, bro.
If you're watching and you can't tell, the NFL draft was not a success to us. But we're gonna kick this thing off with
These students in the house, bro.
Since you said that, I'm gonna get started with you. Let me get your overall thoughts on what we did in this draft.
Man, look, I gotta give it a D. And I think we consistently said the same thing. It wasn't from me. It was the picks. It was one the overreaching, right? I'm in Texas. Y'all know I grew up in Texas. I grew up in Houston. I'm a Houston, quote unquote. I'm gonna say novice. I don't know what the word I'm saying. I ain't gonna say fan, but I support my hometown team, right? And I was so pissed when they drafted Titus Howard because I was like, why are you reaching for a guy that you could have had in the third or fourth round, maybe even the fifth round, and you took him in the first round. And it's like now I see the Niners and we're doing the same thing. We reaching. If you're going to trade back, get the guy that you still want, acquire more assets, and don't do the reach. Am I the only one here that's like don't do the reach? And I get it. People like, oh, you stick to your draft board. What the fuck was their draft board? Because I'm thinking O-line. And I get it. The top receivers have got pulled off the board, and I get it. We all wanted the guy from Arizona State. He was off the board, right? So okay, your guy got taken off the board. Trade back, get more assets, get more valuable assets. I'm not happy. I'm but like that, dude. I didn't see the areas of need that we needed get filled in the spots that I thought that they should have filled them in. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, bro. Not happy. I kick it over y'all. Now.
Go ahead, Brian. I'm gonna let you sound off because I know you got a lot to say on this one.
Yeah, so obviously it's pretty hot after the draft, and I've had some time to reflect, and I've had some time to really think about the draft and think about the players and what we took, and I've decided to be a little more optimistic and go with a D plus instead of a D. And the reason why I'm going with a D plus is because although I don't love where the players were drafted, I do love the players. Kalen Black is a dog. He's somebody that probably should have been drafted in the late fourth, but he is a dog and he is going to make us better. Deshaun Stribling, same thing, dog. He's a guy that blocks. He's a big physical wide receiver, but he's somebody that you probably could have gotten at 58 at the end of the second rather than the first pick in the second. So did they address needs? Sure, they grabbed a couple O linemen. They got a corner. One of our biggest needs that nobody talks about, especially with Raheem Morris coming over, is Raheem Morris likes to play a hybrid defense. He likes to play a 3-4, 4-3, and occasionally even a 5-2. There's times that he'll have 5 linemen. And because of that, you have to have linemen that can drop, right? Everybody kind of slammed the Romello Height pick. That was the best pick we made. That kid can actually drop into coverage. He can play the outside linebacker role in a 3-4. He can get after it. Yeah, he's not great against the run. That's not what we drafted him for. So my biggest issue with the draft is, and this is just one of those things where it's like self-awareness, right? What is the reason? What is the reason or the logic, boys, in having a consensus board, right? Like I know that I don't watch as much tape as the Niners staff, but you have former scouts like Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks, people that have done this for a living, that create these big boards, that take the time, that literally that's all they do is go through and figure out consensus big board where these guys are quote unquote supposed to go. What is the point of creating these boards if you're going to draft somebody 3 rounds before they're supposed to go? I mean, and the thing is, like, LG mentioned this, like this year, but this isn't a this year problem. We've been doing this over and over and over again. Like, Jake Moody that we took in the 3rd round was a guy that was the 252nd overall pick. But we fall in love with players and they draft them way ahead of where they're supposed to go. Even guys that we like that have worked out. Dominic Pooney, he was ranked 107. We took him in the 90s. Like, they do it consistently. The only guy in this draft that they took that was quote unquote good value was Grayson Holden. And that's the defensive tackle, the pass rushing defensive tackle. And I thought that was a great pick, like we talked about. But it's like, ultimately, this is what I'm going to say. Your 1st round pick almost always makes your roster, but I got to tell you, we're going to be cutting talent, because I don't see, with every single player that was drafted in this draft, the only person that I see a clear path to making this team is Romello Height. Because look how many wide receivers we kept last year. Kyle kept 5. We've got Mike Evans. You've got Christian Kirk, you've got Ricky Pearsall, you've got Jordan Watkins, and you've got Jacob Cowan. And that's not even mentioning some of the other guys that we have that, got in games and stuff, whatever, that he likes. Now, granted, he's going to keep dribbling over one of those guys, but it's not necessarily because they're better. He's better. And that's the issue, is we fall in love as an organization with a guy that we like. And we're just like, just like the note says, like in draft day, like, Mac, no matter what. It's like you could have had him at 20, but you draft him at number 1 overall. That is the Niners in a nutshell. Every guy they took, I like as a player. Listen, you can't go and read about Stribling or Kalen Black and not love them as players. Kalen Black's going to be the first one in the weight room. He'll be the last one out. He doesn't have a 2nd-tier gear, but he's a guy that's going to continue to churn his legs, and he's. I don't want to use this name because people are going to be like, oh, he's not him. He's Emmitt Smith-esque. He doesn't have the 2nd gear, but he's shifty, and he's a guy that's hard to bring down, and he's always leaning forward, and that would be best case scenario. But the point being is, if you don't understand the consensus board and where these guys are going to go, you end up doing this scenario where you take a guy at 90 that's projected to go 180, right? A guy you could have taken in the 6th round, but we take him in the 3rd round. And then the most egregious thing, which granted, obviously they didn't think safety or tight end or any of the needs that we had talked about were as big of a need. But, you had studs staring you in the face at 27, 30, and then 33 that you pass 3 times, and you pick up a wide receiver you probably could have picked up in the 3rd round. So my biggest issue is never with the players they took, but, this is just history repeating itself. Bernardo Green, Diamador Lenore, like you can go back and look at the consensus. Every guy we've drafted, it feels like, in the last 7 years have been overdrafted. Did some of them work out? Of course, but the problem is the Niners need to start to realize how draft value really works and start trying to draft more appropriately. They could have traded down from 33 and gotten, even if, because they were like, oh, we weren't getting great value. I don't care. If you get another 4th, who cares? Trade down another 20 picks, and then, you know what, at least then you're continuing to pile draft capital. Don't take the guy at 33 because you're like, do we really need another 4th? And the hard part of this is you don't know how other teams value a player, but what I can tell you is the Niners consistently overreach, and the last time the Niners had a truly good draft was 2020. And you know what? We'll talk about this more later on, but you know what? we've had a lot of people leave our front office, like Martin Mayhew,
Yeah,
like
a
personnel
lot.
execs, different people. And you know what? I'm starting to wonder if the 2018, 19, 20 drafts that really encapsulated who this team's identity was had more to do with other people that have left than the people that are still in the building.
Yeah, and you know what? Before you go, Corey, I've been saying that for a while. It's like, man, it's like the 49ers, like you said, that 2020 front office is basically littered all across the league now. Like, CK mentions it. Oh, he doesn't like, Lynch and Shanahan. But I'm like, dude, look at across the league, bro. This front office has been pillaged. When I say pillaged, there's probably a former Niners staff member on almost every team, right? And what really kind of, I guess, irked me is that, of course, we got the draft compensation for it, but do you get back the quality just because you promoted somebody else? I don't think you do. And I think I was more pissed when I'm not mad at them taking a receiver first because I feel like O-line should have been addressed. We were about to lose our shit in the chat because there was good quality O linemen sitting there for them to take. But remember, I told you I don't get wrapped up into speed guys because there are a lot of speed guys that could run 4.2, 4.3, 4.11, 3.9, can't play football to save their freaking life. And like with the Chiblers, I forgot how he said his name. With that pick, I get it. They wanted a speed guy. Hell, I would have went and looked at Tariq's knee and seen if it's ready to heal before I went with him. Because if you got Trinidad Chambers as your quarterback, why you only had 100-yard game all freaking year? All year. Makes me think again, you got another speed guy who don't know how to play football, do not know how to run routes, do not know how to get the fuck open. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I got. So when it comes to the draft class, since Brian gave it a D plus, you gave it a D. I'm gonna give it a D minus. I'm gonna balance this thing out. Like you said, Brian, they reached on almost every pick, and it's not a this year problem. Kyle has been reaching every year, and I say Kyle because Kyle's got the final say. We all know it. Kyle's got the final say. Lynch is there to take the bullets, just like a lot of GMs around the league. He's there to take the bullets. But I'm gonna give
that Corey. He need to have his foot imprinted on this too, bro. I'm just being for real.
Oh, he's the scapegoat. So if we don't look the way we're supposed to look this year, Lynch is gone. Kyle ain't gone. Lynch is gone.
Oh, I forgot the reporter. The reporter already called him out about why he was
Grant gone. That's why I listen to Grant. I listen to Grant because Grant, he's a hater. But within that hate, he says some true stuff that this fan base don't want to touch on. They reach every year. Our board looks different from every other team around the league every year. And to me, they're drafting as if we're still 2022, 2023, where we was running the NFC and they could be cocky and get players to store players for later. We're not that team no more. At best, we're third in the division right now. I'm going to keep saying that. I hope I'm wrong. But on paper, we are the third best team in the division.
The only thing that saved us, boys, honestly, and I don't even know how this is possible, is I think Seattle and the Rams actually had a worse draft than we did.
Oh, we're going to
get to that was possible, but that's the only thing that saved us because they could have been miles ahead of us when you think about, for example, like the Rams had the ability to take Lemon. These guys had the ability to really strengthen their arsenal, and they didn't do nothing.
We're gonna move on to the next topic, and I want to start this one off just because I got a couple numbers I want to read to y'all. I sent them to y'all the other day, but best and worst picks of this draft class. I'm gonna start with my worst, and then I'm gonna go around and let y'all name y'all's worst before we get to the best. The worst pick in this draft class for me was the first pick in Stribling. Now, you just said it, LG. He had one 100-yard game this year, but I got some other numbers for you. The kid played 15 games this year, bro. 10 of those games he had under 65 yards.
And you got Trinidad Chambers as your quarterback.
Yeah, so he got 10 games under 65. He's got 6 games under 35, and he's got 3 games under 15 yards. To me, yeah, you could have got him in the third, middle of the third, maybe. But to me, taking him at 33 puts pressure on him because that's our first round pick. So now you've put pressure on a kid that it ain't like he was tearing college football up. And he was in one of the better offenses in college football. For you to have, I can't remember what corner it was, the corner from LSU. What's his name?
Messidor.
Messidor. Strapped him for 2 catches for 14 yards. Now, that's the type of competition you were going against week in and week out. Now you got to come to the NFL where we talked about this receiving group, and I think them picking him and the numbers that we have a receiver, I think Ricky's the odd man out. So I think he's coming in to take Ricky's spot.
Dude, and I just thought about this. You played in Lane Kiffin's offense.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin's offense. That dude should at least had 1,100 yards receiving.
I understand he's got speed. I understand they're looking at him as a Juwan Jennings replacement. He can block. He's much faster than Juwan. I guess he's got decent hands, but the numbers I just read is for you to think you could take that talent at 33 and he's going to come right in and contribute, because for a team like us, we needed contributors. And I don't feel like he's going to contribute right away. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but you got Jordan Watkins still on the roster who didn't even get a chance. He's a fast kid. And everything I read about Jordan Watkins was when he was healthy in the offseason last year, he looked like he was going to contribute right away. So I just don't understand the pick. We had the 2 guards that you guys like sitting right there.
Yeah.
And it's just like I told y'all leading into it, I knew Kyle was going to reach for a receiver first. It was too much smoke. I knew it was coming. But that to me was the worst pick of the draft. Brian, what's the worst player we took in this draft to you?
Well, it's hard because I mean there's a few of them. So if we're worst pick, meaning like they're not going to contribute, I got to go Carver Willis, the offensive tackle from Washington. I think he was like a priority free agent type guy. He had a lot of starts, but not a lot of upper body strength. He moves okay, but I don't even think he's going to get a roster spot. If I had to guess, my guess is from Carver Willis down, none of those guys make the roster. I actually really like Prysock, but the problem is he's kind of a developmental guy, right? He's a developmental guy, and we don't have the room on our roster to put a developmental corner. We just don't. I mean, if you think about it, you're going to keep 6 corners, and you go, okay, we got Renardo Green, we got Diamador Lenore, we got Upton Stout, you got the kid that we just signed from Miami, Jones. Yep. You paid him money. You got Saron Neal, who I know is not a great corner, but remember, he's a special teams ace, right? Then you got Daryl Luter Jr., who's a guy that they like quite a bit. I'm already up to 6. Like,
I don't think Renardo Green makes it. I don't think Renardo Green makes it out of all season.
I think here's the problem with that line of thinking. I've heard a bunch of people say that, and even the Ricky Pearsall. The thing is, if you're going to trade those guys, why would we have not have traded them for draft capital or players on draft night? Why would you leave Renardo Green on the roster? I think the reason Renardo Green is still on the roster is because Raheem Morris wanted him. Because there was a lot of smoke saying, hey, you know what, Kyle's not happy with him. The difference is what people don't realize is Diamador Lenore is a decent corner in zone. He's not a good cover corner in man. Renardo Green is the best corner we have when it comes to man coverage.
Yeah.
So Raheem Morris wants him because he's identified that as, hey, this guy's good. I want to keep him. I don't think he's getting traded. So if that's the case, for me, Carver Willis is the worst pick because you literally took him with the top 130 pick. I don't even think he makes the roster. and it's basically a wasted pick. I think all four of the guys, from Carver Willis on down, none of those guys make the roster. And I like Price Sock, but like I said, he's a developmental guy. You look at Jaden Duggar, right? Phenomenal linebacker, had over 100 tackles this last year. He didn't even start playing linebacker until last year. This is his second year playing line. He came into the NCAA as a safety,
Yep.
but outgrew the position. He literally didn't start playing linebacker until 2024. How's he going to beat out Nick Martin?
I tell you how.
All these guys we have on the roster. It's
I
not
tell
going to
you how.
happen.
I'll tell you how, because I'm good. Ready, I'm gonna tip my cap. That's my favorite of the draft
Oh
because of
no.
what you just said. He's got the versatility, but yeah, he just started playing linebacker. But what else can he do? He can rush off the edge. Raheem Morris
He
likes to run 5-man fronts. I'm not saying he's a starter. I'm saying he's a chess piece.
I just think if you're really trying to compete for a playoff spot, like I'm not saying he's not a chess piece, but when you're paring down a 53-man roster and you're talking about a kid that doesn't have a ton of special teams ability, like I'm not saying he can't play it, but he didn't play it in college. That's a lot to ask, right? You're gonna give up a backup, a number two, number three linebacker role to a guy that doesn't play special teams. That's a rough sell. To me, the best pick is Romello Height. He's the guy that I see coming in and having an immediate impact. He's a guy that I could see getting 8+ sacks this year and really energizing and juicing this pass rush. Everybody is kind of like overlooking the fact that, like, Nick Bosa and Mikael Williams are both coming back from ACLs, right? Like maybe one of these guys isn't 100% right to go right out the gate. So I think Romello Height's the best pick. For me, the worst pick, like I said, is Carver Willis, and I don't think it's that close. I don't even know if he'll make the practice squad.
LG, give me your favorite and your least favorite. Go ahead. I'll let you have the rest of this topic.
Man, look, you already know my worst. Dribbling, bro. Dribbling.
Same
I,
with me.
I can't. I can't stand receivers like that, dude. Like, y'all remember that guy? I forgot his name. He, like, before the guy from Kansas City broke his record, he ran like a 4.3 something. Little short guy, and the Giants ended up drafting him, and they was like, "Oh my God, look at his speed!" Didn't even make the 53. I'm just saying, dude. Like, I mean, for all of the talk they talk about Tariq Hill, when he first came into the league, I thought he was going to be bounced out before you know it, or he was going to be a return guy because he couldn't run routes. He had to learn how to run routes in order to stay in the league. Now, that combined with his speed is what made him successful. But you see these guys over and over and over again. It's like, okay, you have all these physical attributes, you have all these speed, you have all this stuff. Where's the production? Where's the production? And I don't want to say I get that feeling, but I get that feeling like he's gonna be another one of these guys that was drafted high because of the physical attributes, and then can't play football to save his life, right? You see the guys like your Pukas, who he went in what, fifth round, because people like, oh, he's slow, he's this. Can't stop the guy. You can't cover him.
Yep.
Like, you see these guys all the time that they don't, have the two. Now, there are some cases like, your Randy Mosses, that dude was just a freak and he ran like a 4.3 or something, but he could play football, right? He knew how to get himself open. He knew how to, work himself to get off the line to get those deep balls. You see guys like that, and it's just I don't see the production equaling out to the physical attributes, and that's the telltale sign for me. It's kind of like um, you see these. Like I say, it's just I can't even go through the list. I'm gonna have to compile a list of a bunch of guys that were drafted early who had all this speed and can't produce in the league to save their life. And then meanwhile, you got guys like like a Justin Jefferson. I'm quite sure he went with like 19. I'm quite sure it's 18 other teams that was like, oh man, we maybe should have thought that speed was an issue. Maybe we should have just went with the guy because he produces. So that's gonna be my worst pick. I think my best pick. I'm gonna kind of side with Brian with height. That Texas Tech defense was a monster, bro. Hey, that Texas Tech defense. If they had an offense, they might have got to the national championship game. If they had an offense. But that defense, dude, was just brutal, dude. I think it was one of those playoff games I was watching. They was down like 7-3, and it was only because their offense just could not move the ball. So yeah, I'm gonna go with height as being my best pick, and just because we all know the Niners need pass rushing so much that he's gonna be put in those situations where it's just like, look, you're in on passing downs, go rush the ball, go get the guy and call it a day. And we'll see what happens.
Hey, before you go, that comment they just put up there, that's the homie Jesse Naylor. That dude right there. I get a lot of I watch a lot of his stuff. Real smart dude. He's tapped in real big with the Niners. I just wanted to shout him out. Go give him a follow.
Hey, appreciate it. Hey, I get the surgeries, but like think about it, dude. That defensive interior is gonna be nasty, and you're gonna need guys to just pin their ears back and go get the quarterback.
But can we stop the run? Got to stop the run before you go get the quarterback.
I mean, we'll see.
I think stopping the run is going to come down to us staying healthy, because I think that if Dre and Warner are healthy, and you have those big guys like West and Alfred Collins and those boys up front to be able to clear some lanes, I think we'll be fine stopping the run. I hear a lot of people talk about the age, like 25, even like with Akeem Mesidor. Oh, he's older. My thing is, listen, and I'm not saying it's not a thing, right? Would you rather have a 23-year-old or a 25-year-old? I get it. But at the end of the day, most of these guys are only going to play 4 or 5 years in the league. And at the end of the day, when his contract is up, you're talking about a kid that's going to be 29 years old. And if he plays phenomenal, you're going to re-sign him anyways to a second contract. I just think, listen, there's a lot of risk with the pick for sure, because you're talking about a kid that's 239, 240 pounds and is not great against the run. But the bottom line is if the Niners can do what they need to do and get opposing offenses into second and long or third and long, and this kid gets, let's say 150 snaps, I think he'll be able to do more with those 150 snaps than what we've had in the past, for sure. And then I did want to make one comment about Stribling, right? Just so it's not all doom and gloom. So 2 things. You're not wrong about the production, but the first thing I want to say is, remember, Trinidad Chambliss did not start the entire year, right? Their quarterback Simmons did get injured after, I believe, the first 4 or 5 games. And the first game that Deshaun Stribling came in, or excuse me, that Chambliss came in, I want to say he had like 3 or 4 catches for like 62 yards, game 1. And I'd have to look that up to find the exact numbers. But then as the season kind of continued, if you look at the last 5 games, including the playoffs, he averaged like 82 yards, and I think he had 4 touchdowns in the last 5 games. So all I'm saying is yes, he not who you would want at 33, but he definitely did show improvement. And remember, he didn't play with Chambliss the entire year. That's all I wanted to say.
No, yeah, and then the fact like Jesse just said, the fact that that's the best pick, which is what we're saying. It was a crap class. We all gave it D's across the board. So,
and by the way, I love Jesse. I tune into his channel. I watch like his stuff with Grant. I watch his stuff with Coach. I watch his stuff with like the other teams in like the NFC West, where they'll do
round table.
Round table. Yeah. So, and I appreciate his takes, man. He's super respectful with his thoughts. And, Jesse, believe me, I'm not going to take offense at all. Ultimately, I don't get defensive. I just want to make sure we're pointing out, the good and the bad, because there's plenty of bad right now.
Dude, hey, look, hey, you know what else I got to say is a bad take? And this is the bad part for me in this draft. So we traded back what 3 times? We traded back 3 times in this draft. Do you
Traded
not
back
know?
actually four
Oh yeah,
times,
four
but we
times.
traded back
Right. Because of
twice in
Mayweather.
the beginning. Yeah.
How many times have you seen somebody trade a low end first round pick and not acquire another first round pick? We didn't acquire
Well,
none. And and people are steady raving about 2027. 2027 is the year. We traded back all these times,
thanks, brother.
and the only thing we acquired was a 7th round 2027 pick. How in the hell is that possible?
But look though, you talking about what we received. What the biggest thing that drives me crazy is these fools got in a press conference and said we put ourselves in a position to take the best player available. And at no spot,
Right.
not one pick,
Right.
did we take the best player on the board.
But
I don't care. I don't
if
care
I'm
what Lynch
trading
says.
back, I'm just saying, Corey, if I'm trading back and everybody got their eyes on next year's draft, I could see us if we would have had at least 3 picks in next year's draft that we acquired from moving back. Fine. Look, I don't care. Give me somebody's first round from next year because I traded the first pick of the second round this year. Give me your first. Who knows? They may have a bad season and be a top 5 pick. But we went into this draft trading back and didn't acquire nothing for 2027.
But we did get a. It's not much, but we did get a 2027 6 because we were missing a 6.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only thing we got. That's the only thing we got from trading back.
But look though, this is how bad it is, right? They traded out of the first round, which tells me they believe in none of these players. What do you want?
I don't believe in none of the players, and I'm trading out. You give me your 27 first round for my 26 first round, or you give me 227 seconds or something. But I'm not gonna trade back and not acquire no picks for 27 when that's everybody's saying that's the deep draft.
Why? Nobody was looking to give up anything next year. But my issue is if you really believed in Stribling, why wouldn't you want the 5th-year option?
I don't care about that, dude. I'm just saying, bro, dude. Just to say, hypothetical world, right? We sitting back in the draft. Hey, you know what? I'll give you this, 27 pick. You give me your first next year, right? I'll move back. I'll let you come get the player that you want. Everybody's saying 27 is the year. Who knows? You fuck around and get the 4th pick. We all know everybody's gonna go for all the quarterbacks off the board. And now we got the kid from Ohio State sitting there or some shit like that. And
but nobody was giving up. Nobody was giving up anything next year because of what you just said. It's a deep class, but
if that's the case, if nobody's giving up nothing for next year, I'm staying where I'm at and I'm taking what off the board. I'm taking what
I don't understand. I don't understand why they just didn't stick at 30. If you wanted a receiver, you could have just got the kid from Indiana that the Jets ended up taking.
Yeah, but why take on more picks in a weak class that everybody's saying?
I'll tell you guys why if you want to know. I'll tell you right now. Because the Niners know that they're not good at drafting. They'd rather have 4 or 5 additional dart throws than to bank on. If you look at the truly good drafters, right? Like, for example, and I'm going to keep saying his name. I thought he showed a master class in the draft, Howie Roseman.
Oh, that wasn't even master class. That was PhD level, brother.
But my point is, he goes up and literally snags a guy that another team is on the phone with because they think, hey, we got 1 pick. We about to. That's a man who understands the board, understands the needs, understands where players are falling. I think what the Niners do, unfortunately, and like I said, I'm trying to stay optimistic but reasonable. I think what the Niners do is they think, if you remember, they literally said in their press conference, hey, we like to have a lot of picks because they had a lot of picks last year. I think that they would rather have more bites at the apple rather than moving up to grab, like, let's just say player A they really like. They'd rather, hey, why would I grab player A I really like when I can get player B and still have 3 more bites at the apple? I'm not saying it makes sense, but I really honestly believe that's how the Niners draft, and that's why we're in this predicament we're in.
even if that was the case, I'm still gonna be like, you know what? Maybe you don't want to give me your first and 27. Give me your second, or give me your second and your third. You know,
The
I'm gonna get more picks in 27 when
the
everybody's saying
biggest
that's the deeper draft.
LG, the biggest issue and the most egregious thing is we moved from 27 to 30. And when we moved back to 30, we gave up a fourth, but we gathered a third. When we
Yeah,
moved from 30 to 33, we moved back the same number of slots. We got a very last pick in the fifth.
yeah,
Like
it didn't
they
make
got
no sense.
horrible value. Like
Horrible.
why you would lessen the value for somebody to move back up in the first round is part of the problem. Even if Deshaun Stribling is your guy, right? Like let's say, Deshaun Stribling, no matter what, you were going to take him in 27 if if that's the case, right? I don't think it is, but let's just say that was the case. They could have moved down to 45 and still got Stribling. Bottom line. And I think yeah. No, he's not wrong. Stribling does do the thing, but actually, Jesse, what I think is really what they're thinking of. Remember, Mike Evans's contract is basically a 1 year deal. Who do we have on this roster that can be an X? Ricky's already proved he can. And that partially because of health, but partially because he's just not built for it. He's not a big body guy that can handle being jammed a lot. So when Mike Evans leaves in a year from now, right? And I understand that they technically can keep him on, but if he leaves in a year from now, who is the heir apparent? That's why Stribling's here. 100%.
But but
You
but
have
but,
they
but
have to have an heir apparent in the system because Shanahan's system does not work without an X that's functional. And that's what we learned last year. You got to have a functional X.
all right, but yeah, okay, you gotta have functional X and Shanahan. But look though, if if this year don't go the way it's supposed to go and Lynch is out, everybody got to understand Kyle's a lame duck next year. After this season, he's got one season left. Who's to say Kyle's here? So
He might not be.
drafting this kid at 33, who right now is to replace Jennings. You're praying that he can become the replacement for Mike Evans, but I just what he did in college just lets me. It's the same thing as all right. His numbers were terrible in
But
college.
to
It's the same,
but,
but it's the same thing to me as if you're injured in college. We're not
but
expecting
Corey,
you to come to the league and be healthy. So why would I
but
expect you to come to the league and your numbers go up?
Corey, fair, and I believe me right now, especially with the Niners the way they're operating, I hate to have to be the voice of reason, but you could say the same thing about George Kittle. He never had a season where he had 300 plus yards
Touche.
at Iowa, and they found something in him and they developed him.
That's
Now,
Iowa.
do
I
do
would
we
expect
do
it. I
we
don't expect it at Ole Miss and Lane
listen?
Kiffin's offense.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but understand, especially over the course of the last 6, 7 years, Ole Miss between AJ Brown, Laquan Treadwell, like they Ole Miss is becoming more and more of a wide receiver, quote unquote, factory. And I do think, everybody's overlooking the most important trait that Kyle looks for, which is
Blocking.
block, no
Yeah.
rock. He can block. I think ultimately what happened last year was Kyle was like, hey, listen, we're not blocking well. Christian's barely able to run the ball. We're getting like 2 yards in a cloud of dust. I need 3.5 yards in a cloud of dust. So we're going to reinvigorate the run blocking. I really think that's what it all boils down to, because I really think he thinks he's an evil genius and he can make water out of wine.
Well, he's going to have to. You just brought up Christian and the struggles in the run game last year. Look, Christian got last year. He was healthy for pretty much the whole year, so we can't expect that this year. And also, he was healthy last year, but he struggled. That's
He
not the.
wasn't producing. I'm in Houston, and he wasn't producing. I'm
yeah.
like that. Not into the playoffs.
I understand. I understand number wise. If you just look at his totals, he had a great year, but the man lost a step is obvious, and everybody's got to understand that. That's not the Christian McCaffrey we traded for a couple years ago to help us get to a Super Bowl. He's not the same player. So you got to get him some help. I think that's the point of drafting the kid out of Indiana. But
if he don't see at least 70 carries, I'm gonna be so pissed.
He ain't getting
Well,
70.
here's the thing. Here's the thing, boys. And I'm a little bit of a Christian homer, so maybe I'm the wrong person to do this. But I don't think Christian has lost as much as you guys think. I just don't think you can expect a running back to have 400 plus touches every year and expect them to produce big every year. I mean, he's an undersized back that's getting hammered every single year, and you give him nobody to take. I mean, what running back do you know when you're like, hey, Christian, would you like some help back there? And he's like, yeah, I would like some help. Like, he's openly stated, yes, get me some help back here. Nobody, listen, everybody wants to set records. Nobody wants to carry the rock 450 times. Nobody wants to have 450 touches because that's not a recipe for longevity. And the bottom line is we've relied on this guy way too much for way too long. He's our number one receiver. He's our number one running back. And you know what? Now that George Kittle's out, I don't know what else. Like what does the offense look like if you don't go through McCaffrey?
Breaking. You know what I'm gonna tell you, dude? And I'm not even being funny, dude. The Chiefs, they traded what 12 or something, 14 or something, and a couple other picks and moved up and went and got their guy, right? Yep. If we know we put all this on Christian. Christian is, getting up in age, right? The Cardinals was literally begging somebody, take this number 3 pick. Dude, trade off first and a couple of more picks of this draft. Go get Love. They were literally begging somebody to take this pick. Go get him and let him be the heir apparent to McCaffrey.
But did you? I'm just going to keep it a buck, LG. That would be a horrible idea. Listen, no disrespect to Love, but I'm sure you guys saw the graphic. Love comes into the league, being drafted number 3 overall. Love comes into the league as the 7th highest paid running back without taking a snap. And behind that offensive line and with no quarterback, he's going to look a lot like Ashton Genty did last year.
I get it, but if he was on the Niners, he wouldn't look like that. But if you're gonna say, okay, we're gonna dial in this draft, hey, swing big. Like we swung big for Trey. Go swing big. The Cardinals was really like anybody offer me something for this pick. Anybody.
LG, but you just said the Chiefs went up and got their guy. And then earlier we was talking about Howie and how much of a savage he is. We ain't them. Our front office don't operate like this. We ain't got a good front office, though.
I'm just saying we could have traded another second and a third. We had like 3 thirds. We could have traded something up. The Cardinals were really begging somebody to come and take that pick from them. Anybody.
The bottom line is, this is, do you want to know the thing that irks me the most about the Niners? If you listen to their press conference after the draft, they'll tell you everything you need to know, right? They don't spell it out, but John Lynch, unfortunately, is honest to a fault.
Yep.
He told you, hey, you know what? There was a couple guys that we really, really liked, we really wanted, and they went a couple picks before us. So speaking to what you're saying, LG, whether it's KC Concepcion, whether it's Rutledge, whether it's whoever, Akeem Mesidor, whoever the guy is, if you want to be mad that our team lacks the conviction when they see a guy within 3 picks of them to go up and grab the guy that we needed.
You started seeing a run of tackles. What does that mean of alignment? Just period. What does that team? I'm honest with you. I think they wanted the guy out of Arizona State. You gotta go jump in front of Pittsburgh. Everybody know how much Pittsburgh love on linemen and D tackles. You gotta jump in front of them.
What a vote of confidence for Stribling, though. We had a couple players who wanted a 27, but they went. So we were just gonna move back to the second round because we know we can get your bum ass. We know we can get your bum ass in the second round. That's not a vote of confidence I want if I'm that kid.
Dude, I mean, and I'll go even further, and I've said this over and over. There's still a lot of free agents out there. I would rather bring a guy in on a 1-year deal, see what he'll take, and have somebody who's already we know we're gonna get in the league than to take a guy that early when we could have taken, like you said, it was still the guy from who was it, Barry? I think we forgot the guard we were fussing about. With like take the guard. He's still sitting.
Keelan Rutledge or DeSantis?
Yeah, both of them were sitting out there. Even when we got back around in the third,
Yeah,
the kid out of Pregnon, that's how you say his name, the guy out of
yeah,
Oregon State, he
Emmanuel
was still
Pregnon.
sitting there. He was still sitting there. Like there,
Well,
I
they
wish
said
we had the stat up right now. There are literally at least 8 or 9 quality receivers that are still unsigned free agents right now. Right
yeah,
now.
because the problem is they've already made it clear that they're not building for the future. They're trying to win right now, and I
Would you
mean,
bring that? I
Mm.
would rather bring in, like I said, I would rather bring in a vet, another vet, know what we got, bring him in on a 1-year deal. We ain't got to worry about next year. He's off our books, see what he got, than to, waste a draft pick reaching for a receiver. I hate it. I just hate it.
So
I don't want my first pick to be based on upside. I want
I
my first pick to be the
I'm
best player available.
listen. I hope I'm wrong, boys. But outside of Romello Height, who I think has a pretty clear pathway to playing time because Huff retired and we need a speed rusher. Um, I honestly don't, I don't know if any of these guys have a clear path to playing time. And the bigger, more egregious thing to me is if you look at the areas, the two areas that I thought we really, really needed help at, and I know we've talked about it, obviously they feel differently. For me, offensive line was first and foremost. Trent is a year older, so he's only gotten worse than he was last year. He was great, but he's a year older. He's more injury prone because that just naturally happens with age. You got a guy currently penciled in at left guard that literally had neck fusion surgery, and we don't even know what we're gonna get
What
from this guy.
did you hear what Kyle said? He said the kid they drafted out of Kansas State is in the competition to start at left guard. The tackle
Yeah,
from Kansas State.
yeah, the kid they drafted with their very last pick, who's
Yep,
really athletic that nobody wanted. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
and that's a
I'm not
Shanahan
buying it.
special.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
So
Dude, you know what? And I'm gonna tell y'all this, and y'all gonna think I'm joking. I got two last takes on this draft, right? The first thing I'm gonna say, when you come to receivers, I had to pull it up real quick, right? Right now, I'm not saying that everything is possible. I'm not saying because some of these guys got some injury histories, but right now, Tariq Hill, Stephon Diggs, Debo, guy who's already been in the system, Curtis Samuel, Juwan Jenkins, DeAndre Hopkins, Noah Brown, Keenan Allen, Josh Reynolds, Zay Jones are all free agents unsigned right now. Right now.
the only guy I
None of
would
that.
even sign is Jawan Jennings.
I would
You're
bring it
talking
back.
about
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I said you
but
can
I'm
bring it
saying
back.
you're talking about Kyle Shanahan's system, number one,
You can
and
bring back
number two,
Debo. You can bring back Debo.
any wide receiver that plays in the system has to understand that outside of like every other system, you're going to be lucky to get 50 targets
Debo,
because
Debo
Christian's
knows
going
the
to get a
offense.
fair share, the tight end's going to get a fair share. So just know coming in, even if you're Mike Evans, you're going to get 50, 60 targets.
But I'm just saying,
I think
Period.
I think
Debo
I
knows.
think Mike Evans is going to be the outlier because I think Brock, especially with Kittle being out early, I think Brock's going to lean heavy on Mike Evans, which is why he came here.
No,
So this is
I get it. I get it. And you
So
know what? Like I said, when we talked early numbers, I think you're probably right. But I'm just saying, like, any of these guys that think they're going to come in like a Keenan Allen or a Debo or whatever, and they're not going to be able to help us that much. We
dude.
already have wide receivers on the roster that are better than those guys, and guys that literally understand the playbook and the system. Really, what we need to start doing is figuring out the guys that we've drafted, like Jacob Cowing, like Jordan Watkins, like, hey, can these guys play? Like, I don't need any more guys that are going to go in front of these guys that need to get playing time. You drafted all these guys because they had 4.3 speed, Cowing, Stribling, uh, uh, Watkins. Let's see if these dudes can play because everything I heard from every report out of camp last year was that Watkins looked great. Cowing,
yep.
same thing. And you know what? They both got injured, and that's a wrap.
So
So
let's see what we
But
got.
but with us though, if they got injured before, chances are they not going to be healthy. That's just what it is with us. If they
Body.
got an injury history, that's just wrap it up. They fit in perfect because they ain't never gonna see the field because they always gonna be hurt. I hope
Bro.
I'm wrong on Watkins because, like you said, everything I heard last year, Watkins was gonna contribute last year.
yeah,
So hopefully Hopefully he's healthy, and hopefully Kyle actually. You took Stribling at 33. Hopefully Kyle figures out a way to get him on the field and use him.
I think the two biggest things that looking back on this draft a year from now that we're going to be like, man, I wish we would have done things a little differently, is going to be left guard and safety. Bottom line, look at I like Jair Brown, but Jair Brown is way better close to the line of scrimmage. He's not a guy that can cover a deep third. That's just not what he does. Him and Mustafa are too similar in body types and role and mentality. You needed a guy that could cover the deep third, and you had a guy in Emmanuel McNeil Warren that not only is rangy at 6'3", 4'5", 140, that can cover ground, but literally had 10 forced fumbles and 7 interceptions in his collegiate career. And you were like, nah, 3 times. Not once.
We probably could have, if we would have traded some of the picks, we probably could have got him and the guy we was targeting. But we kept trading back. We were still trading back.
And the thing is, it's like clearly they weren't interested in him like I was. But it's like they didn't even address the secondary until Prysock, a developmental guy, at what, like 138?
Look, hey, and
can I drop some breaking news real quick? This has nothing to do with the draft, but it just came across my phone. It was sent to me. According to Adam Schefter, the 49ers and other teams are having a hard time getting a hold of Brandon Ayuk as the 49ers.
That's what I was about to say. That's the most egregious thing.
Another situation that the front office has botched.
This motherfucker is still on our goddamn team.
They can't even get a hold of him to trade him.
Dude, so this is the most thing. Is the thing that people thought I was joking. Brandon Ayuk is Brandon Ayuk's biggest problem. He literally was like, oh, I want to go play for Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Okay, the trade has worked out. Oh, I'm not going to report. I made all these glowing reports. So now it's like, okay, we can trade the guy. Oh, Brandon, we're going to trade you, but these teams want to talk to you. Where the fuck you at?
Well, here's the problem, guys. Here's the problem. Number one, Brandon is not doing himself any favors because, number one, the option bonus on September 1st, contractually, everything that's contractual, he has to live up to his end of the bargain. He should be in the Niners facility right now, working out, showing up to mandatory OTAs. He should be with a strength and conditioning coach, getting checked out, because it's much more beneficial and advantageous for him to be traded with his current contract, even if it's going to be revised, than it would be to shred it all up and to start over from scratch. He's not doing himself any favors.
Who is his agent? That's what I want to know.
He should be fired.
His agent should be like, hey, bro, you need to be here. You know what, dude? And I'm just gonna even go there. This is why I'm gonna start pointing fingers at Lynch. Why you not on the phone with the commissioner? Say, hey man, we need to put this dude on the commissioner's list. Because then now his salary don't count, and we don't have to pay him until he starts reporting. Because this dude is basically MIA. He's AWOL right now. Like we've seen guys get put on the commissioner's list for less. Like,
hey, serious, put that comment back up for me real quick.
Put him on the commissioner's list or whatever y'all got to do. Or what did I think it was Dallas did it with T.O. Put him up on these deactivated lists or whatever where you don't have to pay him.
Hey Matt, trust me, dog. If Stribling comes out here and balls, I'll be the happiest person on earth to come on here and say I was wrong. But Brandon Ayuk's already a long lost thought to us. We just want him gone.
Yeah. We just want
him out of here. As a Niners fan, I've already said I'd trade him for a head trainer in a heartbeat. That's what the Niners really need. That would have been a first-round pick right there. Can we get a head trainer to keep some guys healthy?
Man, look, right about now, I'll trade him for the water boy. Can we get fresh H2O over here, man? Look, hey, who giving a high pH over here? I need 9.5. We'll trade you in a heartbeat. Like, and I'm gonna put it like this. And this dude has put such a bad taste in my mouth. I want to trade him, and we don't have to pay him a penny. I never thought I would say that for a player, but I don't want us to have to pay him nothing because we've all seen the videos. He over here wilding. You know, he went and bought like 3-4 cars the other day and was like, oh yeah, they not hurting me. I'm buying more cars.
He look
Okay.
he look like getting fat too.
He obviously ain't been working out.
I'm not listening. I didn't want to say it, but he looking a little bit like me. Let's just keep it a buck. And he's not supposed to look like. I'm more like an old lineman, not like a wide receiver.
I can't even say the comment that I want to say, but if you go to Dave Chappelle, watch the Chappelle show, and he said they should have never money, and that's the comment that I'm gonna leave it right there. That's why I feel about Brandon Ayuk.
All right,
because
so
he acting like he ain't never had money. He acting like some.
Now that the draft's over, boys, just a quick thought. Now the draft's over, what is our biggest need in your mind? Like, where is the hole that we have?
It's still the offensive line.
Still that line.
It's still, they didn't address it. We all should have known Kyle wasn't going to address it.
Why is it year in and year out that the Niners absolutely refuse? It's not even like refuse to draft. It's like since Mike McGlinchey has ruined the Niners front office, this regime, from drafting O-linemen. Like, they drafted him in the top 10, and they were like, oh my God, we got this?
He
and
actually was solid, though. Then, he wasn't all world.
That was a top 10 pick. Come on, man.
Yeah, he wasn't number 9 overall.
You draft the dude in the top 10, he should be like all world. He should have been like all pro. But they took a guy that's not uber athletic.
Yeah, but I'm saying he was solid. And sometimes that's all you need is a solid guy. He was not, like I say, he wasn't all pro. He wasn't a pro bowler, but he was solid. And the thing that's more egregious, why I feel like if they would have drafted all linemen, I wouldn't even been mad at that. Because think about the defenses in this conference you have to think about the front fours you got to face in your own division. Dude, you got to play Seattle and you got to play the Rams front four twice a year. Come on, man.
And that's why I'm consistently saying on paper, we are still at best third in the division. And if the Arizona Cardinals get a damn quarterback, we battling for third. We ain't just automatically third.
All right. Relax their controversy.
Hey, look, man.
Yeah, we ain't that bad. Hey,
we're old. We're old. We're always injured. We're not getting younger.
Hey. There's a thing called being Arizona bad. There's a difference. I ain't gonna go there. Hey, we ain't there yet.
And if you don't start addressing some of these needs, and
we're gonna be there.
We're gonna be there, and we're gonna be there a lot faster than we want to be there.
I'm just saying, man. There's a thing called being bad, and there's a thing called being worse. We ain't there worse.
All right, Corey. What else you got, brother? What else we got to chop up here?
Before I even get to the division, it's sort of touching on what you just said. Out of all the free agents left, give me one move that can make us a little better. Give me one move out there that if we made it, you'd be like, all right, we got a chance to compete in this division right now. Or is there a move out there to make? I should add that part. Or is there something we can do?
Who are you asking, me or are you asking LG?
Go ahead, Brian. I'll let you jump this one.
For me, I think he's still out there. I'll be honest, I haven't checked, but Joel Bitonio. We need a left guard, man. We need a left guard. And listen, I like the guy Jones that they brought in from Miami. He's got starting experience. We're talking about a dude that hasn't started in more than a calendar year. Like, you want to bring him in to compete, that's one thing, but it's like we need a legitimate option at left guard. Like, I need to know that when it's 3rd and 1, that we can actually pick up the 1 yard without having to do play action or throw the ball. Like, that's where we were at last year. We're on the 5-yard line and we're throwing the ball because we can't run between the tackles. Like, go get, like they said in Blindside, run the dang ball, Bert. Go get a left guard and run the dang ball.
Serious, put that last comment up for me real quick. Serious,
hey Brian, he's still available.
Hold on, LG. Let me address this last comment. We can't constantly, as this fan base, say stop being so negative when we point out the truth. You're saying if we was healthy last year, we make the Super Bowl. Dog, we wasn't healthy. We didn't have depth. Our depth got injured. I understand what you're saying. If we're healthy, we a good team. That was a year ago. This team's a year older. Seattle owns us right now. It just is what it is. that roster, they lost some talent, so we got a chance to compete with them.
Yeah.
But LA ain't going nowhere. LA was 2 or 3 plays away from beating Seattle, and they would be the Super Bowl champions, and they didn't lose anything.
Yeah.
So
if
look,
not for LA and Seattle being absolute knuckleheads in the draft, we might be having a very different conversation about whether or not we're even competing. Because
we gotta stop. We gotta stop with the stop being so negative, and our fan base is all crybabies and all that. No. We're pointing out facts. I understand you don't want to hear it. I'm a diehard fan. LG's a diehard fan. Brian's a diehard fan. But we're not gonna lie. We're not gonna lie.
It's tatted on my arm, bro.
We're not where we need to be. Since Kyle Shanahan has been here, from 2019, the first year we went to the Super Bowl, all the way till now, this is a team that should have 2 to 3 chips.
Good point, AJB.
It just is what it is. We should have 2 or 3. We have none. So, like, we got to be honest about it. Like, we love the team. I want to be wrong about everything I crapped on tonight. I want to be wrong. But we haven't won anything. We act like, in this fan base, we act like we're the Chiefs. We act like we've been running the league. We're not.
Nah, yes, you know what, Corey?
We had 3 Hall of Famers injured. Yes, that's my point. They're older. They're not going to just constantly be healthy now. And we're doing nothing to replace them. We're doing nothing to have somebody that can take over for them when they are out. Trent's going to miss 2 to 3. If we're lucky, that's it. George's going to miss the first half of the season. If we're lucky, and that's it. CMC, he was healthy last year. He ain't going to be healthy all year this year. He had over 400 carries. Like, come on. That's the point. We're not doing anything to help these guys. You can't count on 30-something-year-olds to win a Super Bowl. You just can't.
And I think one thing, Matt, that I think that we all need to be cognizant of, because I try to be very optimistic about our squad. We all have to understand that if not for Brock Purdy, the guy that everybody thinks is severely overrated, a normal quarterback could not function in this offense. That guy is constantly running and evading pressure and eluding tackles. He only got sacked 11 times last year, even though he had a pressure rate almost 20%. So I think we have to understand that if not for Brock being really good at what he does, things could look a whole lot worse than they even look right now. Like, we have to fix this offensive line. We have to get him some time to throw the ball. And the bottom line is we weren't good enough last year on defense. Anybody who watched the playoff game against Seattle and thinks that 42-6 walloping was anything other than not good enough, you're just not being realistic with yourself. And even the game before that where we lost 13-3, we weren't good enough. We were not good enough to beat them. We should have. We need to be better on defense, and we need to be better on offense. Bottom line.
Breaking news. You know what? And it's one of the things that, dude. Like, as I'm not the best. I'm always say myself, I'm a realistic Niner fan, right? And if you go back, I mean, what, last 10, 12, 20 years, what teams are consistently winners? You got to build in the trenches. The Niners were at their peak when the trenches were the strength of our offense, bro. It's not the strength of our it's not the strength. I mean, it's not the strength of our team anymore. So we see they've made pieces to help out on the defensive trenches. So now fix the offensive trenches. Like, you can't just negate the fact that we put all this draft capital into defense, because you got to remember they gutted the roster to get rid of a lot of the older guys. What year before last, they got rid of, and it seems like now it's like you would think that you want to, give Brock a few more seconds to get Mike Evans the ball. Hey, give CMC a couple of more holes he can hit. Hey, maybe our backup running backs, they not that great, but with a better line, they can get a few extra yards here and there.
What good is 4.3 speed if as soon as Brock dropped back he getting hit? What good is 4.3 speed?
You got to get Here's the other thing, boys, and just kind of go to Matt's point. So I disagree with LG. I don't think our offensive line has ever been great, ever. I don't think our offensive line's ever been great. Okay, I don't think our offensive line's ever been good.
You don't think 2019 we was good?
No, I think we've been fortunate to have a Hall of Famer on the left side of the line. But even when we finally broke down and decided to pay center Weston Richburg, he got injured, right? So
Yeah.
we didn't even get to see what that looked like, you know. So the point is that the Niners have always operated under the impression of except then, like, we will be good even if the offensive line is not. Like, we will coordinate so that we can operate in a way that the offense is good even if the offensive line is not, because Kyle prioritizes skill position players. He does not prioritize offensive line. And even though they say all the right things, right, we're going to build in the trenches, we're going to do this and this, really what they mean is we're going to build the defensive line, because that's really what, that's not my area of expertise. So I want the good players on that side, and I can do what I need to with the offense. Nobody is questioning or doubting that Kyle Shanahan is a top five offensive mind head coach and play caller in the NFL. But the bottom line is, imagine what he could do if he had the same type of talent as Sean McVay, as John Harbaugh, as all these guys that Andy Reid. Imagine what he could do if he had that kind of talent. And the bottom line is, Kyle needs a general manager in there that will basically check him a little bit, so he can focus more on coaching and less on trying to be a makeshift GM. Period.
Yeah.
All right, so last thing I want to get into, since we touched on our draft class, we got to touch on the division. And
Oh,
Brian, I heard you say it a couple of times. So Seattle and LA, did they with that? Because I was so disgusted with San Francisco, I didn't pay attention to the draft. So did LA and Seattle keep us in this thing with their draft classes, or what?
I think, like I said, the Niners. If you look at every consensus board, the Niners had a bottom five draft. Seattle and the Rams actually had a worse draft than we did by consensus. You have to start with the Rams at 13, right? You're talking about a top 15 pick. You take a guy in Ty Simpson that is going to sit a minimum of a year, maybe 2 years. You've done nothing to help your offense or defense in a division where you finish second, right? So you're not doing much to help your offense or defense. And if you watched the presser, I got to be honest with you, this is one of those things where Kyle Shanahan, has so much control here. Clearly, Sean McVay does not, because he looked pretty heated
Yep.
when he had to describe why they took Ty Simpson at number 13. And even to the point where they said, "Hey, he's going to be the backup," and he said, "No, he's going to have to compete with Stetson Bennett as the
Yeah.
to see if he can be the backup." So, and then you look at the first pick for Seattle. Listen, theirs is less egregious because they only had 6 picks in the entire draft, or 4 picks in the entire draft, and I believe they didn't have a second rounder. So would they have liked to have moved back? Yes. Everything I heard is that they couldn't find a partner after there was 4 or 5 trades right there at the end of the first round. But they take Jadarian Price, who a lot of people believe is the second best running back in this class and a very accomplished return man. But the thing is, he probably would have been there at the end of the second round. Like, there wasn't, you know, you literally drafted a guy in the first round that was the backup for the running back that went earlier in the round. You took a backup running back in college in the first round. So not a great look. I do think he's a good player though, and I do think he adds value as a return guy, especially when they did pay Raheed Shaheed. So I don't think they're going to want him probably doing as many kickoff and punt returns as he did before, because he's now making legitimate wide receiver type money. But they lost a lot. I mean, remember, they lost Turner the safety. They lost, or excuse me, lost Bryant the safety. They lost Mafe the defensive end. They lost a bunch of guys, and a lot of people, including me. If you look at their draft, there's no defensive end. There is not. There's not a lot that they did to replace these guys, but the defense was pretty good to begin with. So we'll see what happens. But I definitely think the way the Rams and the Seattle Seahawks drafted definitely kept the Niners in the race because I felt like all the teams were here before the draft, and after the draft, they were still right there. They didn't go up or down.
Okay. How you feeling, LG? What you think about what the
I
division
mean,
did?
Seattle, they had to take Price because think about it. Who do they got left on a roster as running back? Walker's gone to KC. Charbonnet's probably done for the year already. He tore what, ACL and MCL? So it's like, what do you need? You need a running back. So you had to take the second best available one. I was actually surprised that they didn't go to the Cardinals and be like, hey, let me go up and let me go get this, number 3 pick. Like I said, they were literally like the Cardinals was literally trying to give that pick away. They did not want to take that 3rd pick because they knew they had, think about it, the Cardinals wanted to give away that pick so bad because they have 4 running backs already on their squad. They just paid the guy from Atlanta. So it's like they were begging people to come and get that pick. I wouldn't have wanted to see Seattle go up and get it, but Seattle had to do what Seattle had to do.
To get from where Seattle was to get to 3
Yeah.
would have cost way too much.
I mean, but with Seattle though, hey, hey, I had to get that guy his credit, but Seattle's GM, he drafts good too. Like,
Yeah. Everybody
his
drafts
bread and
good
butter-
except for John Lynch.
His bread and butter is later rounds too. I'll give him his props. But yeah, dude, I wasn't really thrilled about Seattle's pick. But what do you expect from a Super Bowl champion? They're gonna be at the back of the draft anyway. So
Yeah.
and they, like I say, they lost a lot of people. I'm still over here like, we need to find out for the executive. If anybody know who's the firm that represented Ty Simpson, I need to find out who the firm is because going into the draft, right? We all knew the guy from Oregon. Once he pulled out, it was like, okay, you got Fernando Mendoza and everybody else, right? Because they were going back and forth about who was gonna be the number 1 pick, right? So moving forward, it was okay. All these other guys are in the shuffle, and then next thing you know, you start hearing all this Ty Simpson. Dude, I was over here really getting pissed because they were like one of the comparables to Ty Simpson was Shedeur Sanders. I was like, Ty Simpson started 15 games. Shedeur Sanders was like, what was he like, 4th in the Heisman? This dude was a 4-year starter. You cannot compare the two.
You can't compare him, but I'm not getting into the Shedeur conversation because I don't feel like getting even more pissed off tonight.
And I was like, man, no, his comp is Anthony Richardson, somebody who got a little talent, started a few games. You don't really know what you're going to get from it. But not only just the fact that they took a guy that probably has one of the best PR firms and the best agents out there. Like I said, he might got Kirk Cousins' agent. Hey, look.
Did I tell you he was going to go in the 1st round?
I was saying the same thing.
Once all the hype started going, I started believing you, Brian. Because at first I was like, man, that dude maybe third.
Hey, did I not even? I even called my shot. I even said he's going to go right here at 13.
Dude, and I get it. Seattle's been. I mean, the Rams they've been wanting that heir apparent to Matthew Stafford. I actually think Stetson Bennett has the leg up because he's been there, and he's been a little okay in mop up duty. Occasionally. But this was the more funniest thing. This how that pick was so bad, and that wasn't a McVay pick. The phone call when he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna do big things." He's like, "No, hold on, hold your horses, kid. Hold your horses, kid." Look,
it was more of a favor to his dad because I think the GM and his dad is tight.
Yeah, I heard the same thing, Corey.
That dude.
I heard that Ty Simpson's connected to the. His dad is connected to the front office there in Los Angeles.
Yep.
This is how even worse it is, bro. They were like, Matthew Stafford's wife reached out to him before Matthew Stafford did. Dude, hey, I don't want to see a guy put in a bad position, but like, yeah, that dude.
I think he's in the perfect position, and
I mean,
we're laughing. We're laughing at it now. This could mess around and be.
But when are you going to see him on
Favre
the field?
to Rodgers? This could mess around and be Rodgers to Jordan Love.
Like, I'm just saying, when are you going to see him on the field?
2 years.
If he beats out Stetson Bennett. What if he don't beat out Stetson Bennett?
He was taken in the first round. The GM got to connect to his dad. Stetson Bennett won't be there in a year.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I said it in the chat, bro. If you look at just from college production, Stetson Bennett had a much better college career.
Oh yeah,
much better.
You have to also understand though that Ty Simpson only played 15 games.
Yeah,
I mean, if you really want to talk about like egregiousness, like I said, like I had Nussmeier ranked ahead of Ty Simpson in my quarterback rankings, and a lot of that had to do with the fact of, listen, he started 15 games, and at least 7 of them, I wasn't really thrilled with what I saw on tape.
No.
Like, he's very up and down, and it's like, at least with Nussmeier, I can go back to his 2024 tape, and I'm like, dude, this kid's a gunslinger, man. Like, he's a good player.
Nussmeier's what, like 6'4" or something?
No. He's very small. I want to say he's either 6 foot or 6'1".
Nussmeier?
He's a smaller, Nussmeier's a smaller guy.
But
no, he's a smaller guy, which is the reason why. Yeah,
but he's more thicker to me too than Ty Simpson is. Ty Simpson, he looks like he's about 180 pounds soaking wet, and he doesn't look like he's 6 foot. And like I say, dude, that's crazy.
F all that. Screw all them teams. We're gonna get back to these Niners. Look, LG, because you ain't give me one. Give me somebody that's a defensive free agent, because I'm all about the defense. Give me a defensive free agent you want to see them go out and get before we get up out of here.
Dude, I want to say, y'all know what I keep saying. But I want them to really go and ask Raiders, man. How serious y'all about trading Max? Because there's nobody. But like this, we put so much stock into drafting defensive players. So think about it. Last year we took 4 or 5 defensive players. This year we took 4 defensive. We put so much draft stock in the defense, plus all the guys that are coming back. I just, like I said, I would want to see them revisit that trade, because right now I don't think there's anybody that would move the needle for us in the free agency. That's just me though.
Well, how I know I've read a report today that said it's not going to happen, but how disappointed would y'all be if they went out and got Joey? Because I still think it's going to happen.
If he comes cheap, cheap, I wouldn't be mad.
It depends on what the price tag is, but if you're going to go out and you're going to bring in a veteran guy, like, man, I'd much rather have Cameron Jordan, man. I'd much rather have Cam Jordan, because I feel like he could help the young guys. But I understand the Bosa connection, and Mom every day is putting out a new Instagram post and putting them in Niner uniforms. And the one thing you can say with Joey is last year with the Bills, he really did have kind of a renaissance year. Like, he had a good year. He had 5 forced fumbles. The pressure rate was up over what it was previously. I just don't want to I feel like too often the Niners, we pay people now for what they did previously. And it's like, hey, we need to pay you for the production you're going to give us, not for the person you were, right, when you were with the Chargers. And so we just got to be a little careful there. But, there's definitely guys that can help us. But, I'm still going to keep banging my drum. Like I said, we need to continue to work this offensive line. I do love the Vadarian Lowe signing, to have a legitimate swing tackle. Fantastic. You get Brett Toth to help compete at center. Great. We still have a glaring hole at left guard. Let's figure it out. And don't tell me the last pick and pick 175 is going to be competing. You're a playoff caliber team, dude. If this kid works out, great. But you know what? Go out there and get a legitimate starter at guard. And if he beats him out, great. If he doesn't, at least then we have a legitimate starter at guard.
Damn that. I'm like, man, look. John, let's get on the phone, man. Go work your magic, bro. Dude, I mean, I get it. I don't want to keep talking about other teams, but dude, Grenard was traded for what, 2/3?
That one made me sick.
Howie Roseman, he over here got the Harry Potter one over here, man. That dude is over here ding, ding, ding. Let me cast this spell right quick, man. John Lynch, get your ass on the phone. See what you can do. I get it. You like draft picks, but at this point, we've already
locked with them.
we've locked up all of the guys that need to be paid. There's nobody else that need to be paid right now. You got all these young guys on the team, so all these guys on like damn near rookie contracts, bro.
And even
You need
and
to go.
even OC, we restructured his contract to free up like another
Yes,
11 million bucks.
We
yes,
got
bro.
we got money is not an issue for us right now.
Yeah,
Hey,
money's
look,
not the problem.
and BA needs to be. He can be a throw in, bro. Give up whatever that person is asking and say, look, we'll throw in BA as buy one get one free. Something. But you can't do
BA's not gonna answer the phone until he gets to Washington.
Hey, he's a BOGO at this point. Look, you will give up whatever, and he's a BOGO. Look, hey, and at this point, he could be gone too. But I would want to see him get on the phone, work your magic. We've seen, like I said, we've seen all these other trades, and you be like, damn, Grenard, and then he's on like a team friendly deal. He signed with like 4 for like 100 and something. Like he's on a team friendly deal. Like go ahead and move some of these 3rd round picks. We don't need 47 4th round picks, bro. Go make some moves and get a difference maker.
And that's
like,
why earlier when you
brought.
And that's why earlier when you brought up the Chiefs and you brought up the Eagles, I said we not them. Our front office don't move like that. We do our due diligence, and we do nothing after we do that.
I mean, I get it. We made the trade for what is it? I always miss the guy's name from the Cowboys. Okay, yeah, that was a good trade. OC. Okay, but then at some point you're gonna get to where basically everybody on the team is on team friendly deals, and you got all these guys that are probably in their 2nd or 3rd year that's making still on rookie contracts. Go swing for the fences, bro. This is when you go sign. Your quarterback's already locked up. You know what you got to pay your quarterback. Go swing for the fences. Y'all thought I'm not being a Niner basher, but I don't want to go back and I'm look at this draft and be like, how in the fuck did the Cowboys have a better draft than us? I hate the damn Cowboys. I don't want to talk about the damn Cowboys. They had a better draft than us. Like the Cowboys are literally putting this together a really solid team, and they got a lot of guys that are gonna be on team friendly deals and low contracts.
Like I said, man, the one nice thing though about the draft and the process, as you guys know, if it was like a slotted thing where the best person goes 1 and the next best person goes 2, we'd have nothing to talk about. So you know what? Maybe these boys surprise us, and I hope they do.
I hope so.
And they outplay their draft position. My biggest contention here, like I said, is just the consensus. Like the Niners never seem to understand where players should be drafted, and they always overdraft guys. And it's like if you overdraft a guy, because you got conviction and you think like, oh man, this guy's great. That's great when it works out, like George Kittle. But the problem is, how many times have we seen Ty Davis Price, Trey Sermon, Joe Williams, Cam Latu? Like, I mean, these are all 3rd rounders. You could just keep going. This regime has overdrafted and wasted high value assets time and time and time again. And you know what? The one thing I will say, because I've said it over and over again, how we overdrafted all these guys: Stribling, Height, Black, and Halton, and even Prysock. All those guys are fantastic human beings. They're all going to work really hard. They all are quote unquote Niner type of guys, but you have to have the talent, right? You have to have the talent to actually get it on the roster and make it out there. I hope they do. I think Halton and Height have the clearest path, because outside of OC, I don't see another defensive tackle on our roster that can legitimately rush the passer like Halton can. So I think those 2 for sure make the roster. I really hope when we get to cut down time, we're talking about 4, 5, 6 guys that actually made it.
Yeah, me too. And like I say, but I'm hoping, bro, because at the end of the day, like I said, I love the Niners, but I sit back and I look at some of these other teams and some of these moves, and it's like we have all the pieces in place that most of these teams do. I mean, Kittle's gonna come back. We got a great tight end once he comes back. We got CMC. We got Brock Purdy. We got Warner. We got Bosa. We got guys on the team, and it's like, okay, go get that other dog. Let's push some chips in. Like I go to the casino. Hey, I like to push my chips in sometimes.
Listen, I don't know how long he's going to last and if the leg and the knee holds up, but if it does, I promise you, the D is going to look better and going to be much more energized with Dre Greenlaw back.
Yeah.
You got our
Yes.
enforcer. You got our enforcer back. And you know what? I think Mustafa's going to feed off that. I think Fred Warner's going to feed off that. You're going to get a different vibe, a different energy, and a different edge. I just hope the man can stay healthy because with him out there, it's going to be a totally different defense. And I wasn't even that worried about the D winners because if you look, we play about 65 to 70% of the time in sub packages, meaning we only have two linebackers out there. Why keep a guy around in his last year that's only gonna pay 20-30% of the snaps?
And misses 40% of the tackles that he should be making. I wasn't
Right,
mad over the
right.
D win. Yeah,
Yeah.
he missed a lot of
So
tackles, bro.
I am, just like I said, we've had a lot of what I guess some people would consider to be negative, negative connotations about the draft, but it was more about I think where the guys are drafted because, like I told you guys, I actually like Stribling, and like I said, if you look at what he did the last 5 games, including the playoffs, he balled out 70 plus yards per game, had 4 touchdowns in the last 5 games, playing against really good competition. I think it took a little bit of time for him and Chambliss to kind of get on the same page. I think Romello Height is a baller. You look at how many hurries, pressures, and knockdowns and sacks he had. He was ranked in the top 5 in pass rush win rate this last year in college. Like he is a good pass rusher. And then Kalen Black, Grayson Hall, and Pricelock, like I said, I think are good picks. I think Ephesians Pricelock is kind of a little bit too developmental for me. If we can stash him, great. But I do not love the linebacker or the offensive line picks, and I just don't see them adding a lot of value. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, look,
See,
I'll say
I was getting ready to say, let's get out of here on that positive note, but you
no.
ended on a
I'm
negative. Give me
gonna be
something
positive
positive,
too.
LG.
Like I like I say, I hope all these guys. I hope we got at least 2 gems because we've always came out with at least 2 gems. I hope we come out with 2 gems, possibly 3 gems in this draft. Because we all said it. They bread and butter is not first, second round. They bread and butter is third, fourth, fifth round. Hey, maybe even the sixth round. That's what the bread. That's where the bread and butter of the draft that we hit big on. Um, I think I'm just more kind of in my feelings, and I know next time we on, I'm probably gonna be more positive. I just was more in my feelings because I want to see the things that you would think that teams do. We talk. I don't know if anybody watching the show, we talk pretty much on a daily basis, and it's like you see the Howie Rosemans of the world. You see them and you like, okay, see a need, feel a need. Hey, look, hey, let me make this move that you didn't think I was gonna make this move, right? Um, and you see what the Niners are doing, and like I said, I wouldn't have been mad at them if we constantly traded back, but we were acquiring more assets for 2027. I wouldn't have been mad. Um, hey, the kid hype from Texas Tech. I'm in Texas. Like I said, I watched a lot of their games. That defense was amazing. He played great. Um, but if it cost 2/3 to go get Grenard, I would have been mad. And that kid could have been in Minnesota. I wouldn't have been mad at all. Um, like I said, it's those type of things for me that I want to see because I feel like if we are literally one game, one home game at that, away from being the number 1 seed, then that means we need to be betting against the house, push it
Yeah.
all in. Like that's the
But half
part
the
that some
roster
people don't
injured.
realize. Yeah, some people don't realize that we were literally one game with all the injuries away from being the number 1 seed.
Corey, we got to get out of here.
Hopefully,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah. Go
I
ahead.
wanted to. You said to end on a high note. I'm gonna end on a high note for me, and then you boys can wrap it up. I just want to say, owners meeting. We didn't talk a lot about this, but I just want to say for the Niner faithful here in the chat room, just to get a chuckle. So I'm sure you guys have heard first game of the season. Niners are playing the Rams in Australia. The Rams lobbied real hard to
Yep.
have that game on the road, and come to find out, it sounds like the Rams do not like the fact that basically SoFi is Niner South. That so many Niner fans show up to their stadium, take over their stadium, and it's basically a home game for the Niners. So they figured if we go, 10,000 miles away, at least then it's a neutral site. So let's meet them there as well. Peace
There you
out, boys.
go.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Hey,
All
man,
right.
it's
LG, go ahead and get me up out of here.
man, look, hey, it's a nine to take over at every game. Look, hey, while Brian
Facts.
talking, I literally had an argument with one of my friends because he was like, "Oh man, it's not that many Niner fans at this Texas game." I told him, I say, "Dude, the Texas changed to battle red, so you can't tell the difference." And I was like, "I say, yeah, that's why you can't tell on TV, but if you hear, you know exactly what you're seeing." So yeah, bro, like I said, I'll say that, and I'll say, man, look, it's always a pleasure working with y'all boys. Hopefully, we can get maybe another not a fan on here or there or something like that. But we're gonna keep rocking everything. We're gonna
Yes,
we're gonna do it
sir.
like this.
Yes, sir. I see you on the next one. Go ahead, Brian. Get me out of here one more time because our producer's
Yeah.
sleeping.
Hey, no problem, man. You know what? Let me just say, I just want to say, I really appreciate all the boys and the gals in the chat,
Facts.
uh, hanging with us, giving your opinions. I think far too often people think, the only quite a knowledgeable people, the person with the mic in front of them. We don't feel like that at all, and our fans and especially the people that were here in the chat. A lot of legitimate content creators, a lot of people that brought a lot of facts and kept us on our toes. I appreciate that. I hope to continue to see you here. So thank you guys very much, and we'll see you guys the next episode. Peace.
Yes, sir. Hey, everybody that watched, we appreciate y'all. Like Brian said, hey, we just fans just like y'all. So keep coming with the comments. When I see them, when they get put up on the screen, I'm gonna do my best to interact with them because I like to have that conversation and keep it going. Follow us over there at the Executive View Podcast over on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. You can find us on Spotify. We got the All Sports Show coming out tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern time. They're going to cover everything: NBA playoffs, probably more NFL draft. They'll talk a little baseball. Then Wednesday, we got the backstage business. If you're a WWE fan, come on, check us out over there. Like I said, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify. You can find us everywhere. I'm at Controversial Corey over on TikTok, Controversial C on Instagram. Come follow me. Follow the Executives View podcast on all those platforms. And we appreciate everybody checking us out. See the show. If you see it, share it with a friend, like it, subscribe, do all those things. I appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all in the next one. Bang, bang, not a gang.